Over the last year, I've done over 6 figures with print on demand, but I wanted to set myself a challenge. Could I create 2 brand new print on demand stores and do the exact same thing again? A little over a month ago, I made this video right here, an introduction to the series where I go over how I set Shopify stores up and the third-party apps that I install, which I believe are needed for a successful Shopify store. It's now roughly been 6 weeks of posting content, creating products, and running the 2 print-on-demand stores, so I thought it's time to give a little update on how both of the stores are doing. So just a little reminder, the first store is a novelty underwear store and the second store is a t-shirt store. So I'm going to go over the analytics of the underwear store first and then the t-shirt store second. Okay, so I've took all the data from Shopify and put it into Excel just so it's a bit easier to consume and I can kind of explain and show you all a lot easier. Okay, so the first 2 to 3 weeks of October were spent making the website, optimizing the website and just getting a few products up and ready. So in October, I made 2 products and I didn't start posting content until around the 22nd, 23rd of October. So in October, I posted 7 TikToks, I posted 7 Reels. On TikTok, I managed to reach 7.6 million people. And on Instagram, I only managed to reach 3,585 people. Now, I wouldn't expect to reach 7.6 million on a brand new account, which just shows that short form content is a bit of a lottery and sometimes content gets traction, sometimes content doesn't get traction. So the 7 pieces of content I posted on Instagram were exactly the same as the 7 pieces of content I posted on TikTok. So it just goes to show the same content on TikTok gets 7.6 million, same content on Instagram gets 3,600. So it just goes to show that while something might work on one platform, it might not necessarily work on another platform. So it's important just to keep experimenting with different platforms, as one platform might have a slightly different audience, one platform might have a certain thing trending while the other one doesn't. So yeah, just experiment with both platforms if you are cross-posting on TikTok and Instagram. Right, now before I reveal how many website visits and orders 7.6 million views got me, I want you to pause the video and put your guesses in the comment section below as to how many orders I got from 7.6 million views, because personally, I was very surprised at how many I got. Okay, so now that your guesses are in, it's time to reveal my website visits, my total orders, and my conversion percent for 7.6 million views. So website visits, 5,400. Total orders 58 and the conversion percent was 0.96. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, from 7.6 million views, these figures here, they're pretty bad, but there's some reasons for this. So number one, I didn't expect my very first post on TikTok to get as much traction as it did. So the post wasn't necessarily optimized with call to actions in the caption, on screen, in the comments section, that kind of thing. Secondly, I did overprice the product a little bit. I was shooting a little bit too high. So I think that's a reason why the conversion percent was low. I did rectify this in November, which I'll go on to later when I show you the November figures. Another reason I think the website visits and the conversion was low is because there's a lack of social proof and trust, because obviously that was a fresh account. It had like a couple of posts when the one went viral. So people aren't necessarily going to buy from a brand new TikTok account with like no social proof and reviews, history of orders, that kind of thing. And another reason I think the conversion was low and I didn't get many orders is because on TikTok you can't actually put a link in your bio until you reach 1,000 followers. So up until 1,000 followers, you're basically relying on people to type the URL in manually. And realistically, who can be bothered to do that in this day and age? Not me, that's for sure. So yeah, they're the reasons why I think my website visits, orders and conversions were relatively low for 7.6 million views. But we go again. I'm going to move on to the November stats shortly and you can see the difference. Okay, so now it's time to move on to the total revenue from 58 orders and how much Shopify paid out into my bank account. So the total revenue from 58 orders was £1,508 or around $1,900, I believe. Shopify payouts, they paid me £1,223. So if we now subtract my Shopify subscription, you get your first month at £1. They've actually changed that now where you get 3 months for £1, but I was too early for that deal. So next month was £25. The domain, £12.43. My business bank account, I use Revolut Metal. You get certain perks for them. So yeah, that was £14.99, and I spent £744 on stock, which gave me a total monthly profit for October of £450. I don't think that's terrible for the first month on the shop, bearing in mind I didn't actually start posting content until around the 22nd of October. So really the October stats here pretty much are 7 days worth of posting content. And bear in mind, I couldn't have the link in my TikTok bio until I hit 1,000 followers. So a couple million of this 7.6 million, they couldn't easily access my website. So overall, although the conversion was bad, the website visits were bad for how many views I got, I'm pretty happy with a profit of £450. Okay, so moving on to November, this was a full month worth of posting. So I posted pretty much every day this month, as well as making a few more products. So I increased my total number of listings from 2 to 8. I posted on TikTok 24 times and I posted on Instagram 24 times as well. Pretty much all I'm doing is taking the same things I'm posting on TikTok and putting them on Instagram, seeing how it does. If I need to alter the content in the future, I will, but for now, well, for this month at least, it seemed to work quite well. So I reached 1.3 million people on TikTok and I reached 66,100 on Instagram. So moving on to the website visits, total orders and conversions. My website visits this month were 1,720, lower than last month, but that is expected because my views were considerably lower. I got 28 orders and my conversion was up to 1.4%. I think my conversion was up mainly because I lowered my prices. You could click the link in my TikTok bio, as I'm now at about 5,000 followers on that account. And it's got a lot more social proof. So I think that's the reason why the conversion increased from 0.96% to 1.4%. Moving on to the revenue and the Shopify payouts. So my total revenue was £756, or around $900, I believe. Shopify payouts were $796. Now you might wonder why my Shopify payouts were more than my total revenue, and that's simply because on weekends there's a little delay from getting the sale to getting it paid out. So there was a little delay at the end of October, which meant a little bit of this revenue here was in my November payouts. So that's the reason the payouts are higher than the revenue. Going on to the monthly fees I pay in order to keep the shop running. My Shopify subscription this month, £25. Domain, didn't have to pay for because I got a yearly domain for £12.43. Business bank account, same, £14.99. And my stock purchases were £453, bringing the monthly profit for November to a grand total of £303, and the total profit for 6 months running a brand new print-on-demand store was £754, or around $900-ish, I believe. So overall, I'm pretty happy with that, considering this isn't my main source of income, purely just a little side hustle, a little challenge I've set myself. So I'm going to keep it going. I'm going to carry on making new products throughout December. I've ordered some new samples that I intend to make content with. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. And it is also important to remember I'm doing this completely organically. No paid Facebook ads, no paid TikTok ads, just organic short form content. So I just want to show you quickly at how effective Sell Easy was for me in terms of bringing in extra revenue to my store across October and November. So Sell Easy is essentially a third-party extension that you can install on your Shopify website, and it allows you to kind of create product add-on bundles for a discounted price. So for example, buy one item at £20, get the second item at half price. So as you can see, by having this enabled on my store, it allowed me to create more bundles and increase the average cart value of my orders. So if we look at this bottom offer here, offer boxes when buying pants, it got 4,810 views, 726 people clicked on it, and it resulted in 52 conversions, landing me a conversion value of £921. So I do find Sell Easy effective, especially with this store, because I'm making the products intended to be bundled up. So I'm making underwear, which is meant to be worn as a matching set for couples, essentially. So that is why Sell Easy works really well for this store. Another thing that helped increase my revenue was the Nvidium shipping protection, which I mentioned in my previous video. Now, as you can see from my all-time stats, which range from October to November, the shipping protection helped collect an extra £148 from 88 orders. 66 orders were protected, 22 were unprotected, which means 75% of my customers opted in for shipping protection. So that's just a little way you can help increase your average order value just by adding cheap 99p, 1.99 shipping protection as an option at checkout. Some customers take it, some customers don't, but for me, it's always worked well, and it's just an easy way to get a bit more money from your orders. Okay, so moving on to the t-shirt store, same kind of thing. The first 2 to 3 weeks were kind of used making the website, optimizing the website, and creating a few products. So in October, I made 15 t-shirt designs. I posted 6 times on TikTok, 6 times on Instagram. I reached 2,187 on TikTok and nearly 1,300 people on Instagram. Very low numbers in comparison to the underwear store, but that's the game with short form content. Sometimes it blows up, sometimes it doesn't. Shopify visits, I got 246 visits. Bear in mind, I'd say probably 50 of these visits were me testing the website and making sure everything worked. So from these 200 or so visits, I got a grand total of 0 Shopify orders, meaning my conversion was obviously 0%. This obviously means my revenue was £0 and I got no payouts from Shopify in the month of October. Shopify subscription, first month at £1, same as the other store. My domain for the year was £12.41. And I spent £30.52 on Fiverr. I am outsourcing a few of the designs on this store, just simply because I am juggling a lot of side quests at once, so I physically don't have enough time to run these 2 print-on-demand stores, my main print-on-demand store, and make content for this YouTube channel. So I am paying someone on Fiverr to help me make a few of the designs. Because I got no sales, I obviously spent £0 on stock. Total profit was minus £43.93. Am I worried? No, this happens with business. It's completely normal. It's part of the process. You know, there's many months ahead of me and I'm sure I can turn it around. Okay, and moving on to November for the t-shirt store, I increased my listings from 15 to 47. I tried to post once a day across TikTok and Instagram, but I did miss a few days. So 26 posts on TikTok, 25 on Instagram. I reached 19,000 on TikTok and 6,500 on Instagram. So those numbers are up from the month before, but that's expected because I posted 5 times the amount of content. My Shopify visits were down to 131. Which is a shame, but you know, that happens. Again, similar story to October, 0 orders, 0% conversion, £0 revenue, no payouts. So moving on to the monthly costs of running the store, my subscription went up to £25. Domain didn't have to pay for because I bought a year up front. and I spent £44.14 on Fiverr. Shopify stock purchases, obviously 0. I bought no samples, I made no sales, and I'm down to minus £69. And then we've got Etsy here. Now I haven't actually put anything on Etsy. That is just something I'm thinking about doing. Just because short form content doesn't seem to be working for this store. It's not to say it won't work, it's just not working at the minute. So I bought the EverBee extension for this Etsy store, which I'm going to use to start researching if my products are likely to sell on Etsy. So that also cost me £23.82 for 2 months, I believe. Maybe 3 months, I'm not entirely sure, I can't remember off the top of my head. But the total profit for the t-shirt store, I am minus £136.89. But on the flip side, on the underwear store, I am up £754. So yeah, I've been running 2 brand new print-on-demand stores for around 6 weeks now. Total profit on the underwear store, 754, minus 136 on the t-shirt store. Now, what I think I'm going to do going forward, I'm going to carry on doing what I'm doing with the underwear store because that seems to be working okay month on month. With the t-shirt store, I am going to carry on posting content, see if I can get anything to go viral. If I can't, then so be it. Perhaps this will turn into an Etsy only print on demand store. But I think in December, I am going to launch the t-shirts on Etsy, see how they sell, and then hopefully get a little bit of money running to the bank account for the t-shirt print on demand store. So that is where I'm at with my journey of starting 2 new print on demand stores from scratch. £754 up on one, whereas I'm £136 down on the other one. I am trying to be transparent with everything I'm doing with these 2 print on demand stores, showing you the analytics along the way month on month. I think print on demand, it can be quite a misleading business, similar to dropshipping. You've got people on TikTok and Instagram mainly claiming that you can make 6 figures in 90 days. While that's possible for some people, it's not the reality for most people. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get across within this challenge. You know, there will be hurdles. That is just simply the nature of most businesses, really. It's not just an upwards trajectory. It is a roller coaster of ups and downs. So if you're interested in print on demand, Etsy, or the e-commerce space in general, then consider subscribing as I'll be posting more content related to those topics in the future.